Pete the Cat, 3 storybooks. Pete the Cat, Pete's Big Lunch. Here comes Pete. Lunchtime. It is lunchtime. Pete is ready to eat. What should Pete eat? A sandwich would be nice. Yes, Pete wants a sandwich. Pete opens the fridge. He takes out a loaf of bread. He finds a yummy fish. He adds tomato and mayo. Pete looks at his sandwich. It is too small. Something is missing. Pete knows what it needs. His sandwich needs an apple. Pete loves apples. His sandwich needs crackers. Crackers are crunchy. Pete loves crunchy crackers. Pete looks at his sandwich again. It is still too small. Pete is very hungry. Pete adds a pickle. Pete adds cheese. Pete adds an egg, 2 hot dogs, a banana, and a can of beans. Something is missing. Pete adds ice cream. He takes 3 huge scoops. Pete's sandwich is too big for Pete to eat. Pete wonders what to do. Pete thinks and thinks. I've got it, Pete says. Pete calls all of his friends. He asks them to come over. Everyone goes to Pete's house. They are all very hungry. Pete shows them his big lunch. Are you hungry? Asks Pete. Pete's sandwich is big enough for everyone. Dig in, says Pete. Pete's sandwich is good. Pete's sandwich is very good. Pete's sandwich is all gone. Pete's friends are full. They liked Pete's big lunch. Thanks for lunch, Pete's friends say. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Pete says. Sharing is cool. The end of story 1. Story 2. Pete the Cat and the Surprise Teacher. Pete is ready for school. Where is Mom? Pete asks. She has a surprise for you, says Pete's dad. Pete goes to school. His mom is there. What a surprise. Hi, class. I am Mrs. Cat, says Pete's mom. I am the substitute teacher. I will need your help today, says Pete's mom. What do we do first? Art, says Pete. Yay, says the class. The class lines up. Pete's mom leads the line. Is this art? Asks Pete's mom. Boing! This is not art. This is gym. Stay and play, says the gym teacher. The class plays. Gym is fun with more kids, says Pete. Gym is over. Pete's mom takes the class to art. La la la. This is not art. This is music. Stay and sing, says the music teacher. The class sings. We are louder with more kids, says Pete. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Pete is hungry. Time for lunch. This is not the lunchroom. This is the playground. Let's have a picnic, says Pete. Now it is time for art, says Pete's mom. Everyone cheers. Pete leads the class. Is this art? Asks Pete's mom. It is. Lots of kids are making art. Oh no, says the art teacher. It is too late to join us. The day is almost over. The class goes to their classroom. I know, says Pete. Let's make art here, he says. Okay, says Pete's mom. Pete calls a huddle. Whisper, whisper, whisper. The class plans a surprise. Pete draws. Callie makes paper cats. Everyone helps. Thank you, Mrs. Cat. Surprise, says Pete. The class made art for Pete's mom. Thank you, Mrs. Cat, says the class. We had a great day with you. Sometimes a different day is an awesome day. The end of Book 2. Book 3. Pete the Cat's Train Trip. Pete the Cat is going to visit his grandma. He gets to ride on a train. Pete's mom buys 3 tickets. She gives one to Pete and one to his brother, Bob. Pete looks up at the big board. Our train is leaving at 10 o'clock, he says. A train speeds by. That's a cargo train, Bob tells Pete. Pete's train has arrived. All aboard, calls the conductor. Pete's mom finds 3 seats. I can't wait to see Grandma, says Bob. I can't wait to explore the train, says Pete. The conductor comes to collect the tickets. Pete hands over his. I love trains, says Pete. I'll show you around, says the conductor. Pete follows the conductor from car to car as the floor rumbles under his feet. Wow, Pete says when they get to the caboose. We're going over a bridge. Pete sees his mom and Bob. They are at the snack bar. I got this for you, says Bob. Pete follows the conductor. He goes to the front of the train. Come in, says the engineer. Wow, Pete says. The engineer shows him the engine. The engineer shows Pete the train's brakes. There is a tunnel up ahead. As they go through the tunnel, Pete gets to honk the horn. Toot toot! Everything is light again. Thanks for showing me around, Pete says. On his way back to his seat, Pete stops and makes new friends. They live in different towns. They are getting off at different stops. Pete plays games. A little kid wears his hat. Pete sings a song. What a groovy ride. We get off at the next stop, says Pete's mom. Toot toot! Pete looks out the window and sees Grandma! Pete is the first one off the train. Pete's grandma gives him a big hug. It feels good. Pete loves riding the train, but he loves his grandma even more. The end, the end, the end.